Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. Today I have the finale to my Makeup Panner'S book club. So, this is a project pan that I created this year. I started in January and have been working on it for the entire year. I felt like my New Year's resolution for this year was actually to read more books. Because I love reading, but I have been so bad at taking the time to read for myself. I work at a school, so reading kind of it was my interest. Then I started working, then I had an education where I learned how to educate about books. I started working with books, and then reading became a job. It wasn't something I did for myself anymore. It was something that I did so I can transfer it to students, and that kind of killed the vibe completely. Don't make your interest your job. So I have been really for many years feeling like I'm failing, like I don't read as much. So my New Year's resolutions, because I have a new job now, was to actually read more, to give myself time to read books for me and not for any kind of work related thing. So I thought, how can I do this? How can I fulfill this New Year's resolution? Well, if I talk about makeup, if I pair makeup with my books, that will maybe give me the motivation to do it. Also, if I post it online and I am stuck on the same book for months, it will be embarrassing. So maybe that will give me the kick in the butt to actually go through the books and not stop reading after a couple of chapters and then don't pick up the book for another month, and then sometimes it can be a very slow journey. So I thought if I have to make updates every month, then maybe I will do better. Also, I always say this, I also have this motivation to. I feel that we need to show that we are readers. It's been a micro trend that I'm at a whole, people are reading less. They're reading less books. And I think that it's important to show that you have this interest, that it's not something lame, that we are readers out there. Maybe you can be a role model to someone. It's my kind of more altruistic motivation, but basically I just wanted to read more for myself, so not very altruistic anyways. So I have been working on this project, as I said, from January. This is the finale. I'm going to talk about the book that I was reading last month and the makeup or the beauty items that I have, because I pick items that corresponds to the book that I'm reading. So we're going to talk about that. Then I will talk about some other books that I finished also, because spoiler alert, I did finish the book I was reading last month. And yeah, we'll see where we leave it. But let's talk about this heavy boy. This is House of Leaves by Mark Danielewski. This is his first book that he wrote, and it's, oh my god, what an ambitious thing to publish. This was released in the year 2000, so it's not a new book. So interesting. I haven't read anything like this. I've been trying to explain it to friends and colleagues, the experience of reading this, because in most books you have a narrative, you have a linear story. Maybe you have flashbacks, but this one has so many, it has, I think, 4 narrative levels. So you have a main story and someone writing about the main story in a scientific manner, and then you have someone writing about the man writing about the main story, and then you have this man's editor. It's just the layers, man, the layers. So the main story follows this family that moves into a house, and they realize that this house is ever changing. It adds spaces, and it is just an infinite place. And It is a mystery. I feel like it's scary at parts, but I don't know what really is scary. But I found myself thinking about the book, like having weird dreams because I was reading this before going to bed. But it's not like your typical like super scary, what do we say? Like it's not like a ghost story. But it's something very creepy about this book. And it's not really linear, so it's not following like the story. It's jumping back and forth, and sometimes like you have segments that look very different from what you would call a normal book. It is supposed to like mirror the experience of the one writing. Are they getting more and more insane writing? Basically, yeah. It's just very, very unique in its kind, and I enjoyed reading it. I enjoyed the thought of finishing this book. I enjoyed like the uniqueness of the book. Was it a pleasant read? No, it was kind of energy consuming, difficult. You have a lot of footnotes, so you can read the footnotes and jump back and forth, and it just took a lot of energy. And it's the type of book where I finished it, I had to Google what the fuck just happened, what did I read, what is going on, to understand really like how are other people interpreting this, because it didn't feel like crystal clear to me, and I like to like see different theories and be like, okay. So one theory I saw was a guy writing that because this book often comes back to the maze, like everything being a maze, like in the house there's this infinite room that appears that is like a maze that has other doors leading to other places, and I think there's also this semantic, like linguistic breakdown of what a maze is. How long have we been talking about the maze? The like, what is the history of that word? And he said that you can read this like a maze because you have a main story, and then when something feels like, oh, now it's getting interesting or scary, then you will be sidetracked by like this random ass shit that you don't really care about. Maybe like the semantic breakdown of, or the linguistic breakdown of the word maze. And you're like, but it's just, like this was happening, and why are we talking about the meaning of a word now? So it's like also to mimic the maze when you read, because you will get annoyed, you will get irritated because you're torn away from from what you feel like is the main story to read something completely irrelevant. Like if you were to walk in a maze and find a dead end and you will have to turn back and like retrace your steps or whatever. Very interesting. So if you're up for a challenge, I would absolutely recommend this book. I'm very glad to have read it, but as I said, it's not, I wouldn't say that it was always an enjoyable read. That is the update of this book. I have been working on 4 items that correspond to this book because it took me 2 months to get through it. So I did enroll, let's talk about this one. I enrolled this eyeliner. This is by LA Girl. It's an eyeliner it's a neon eyeliner in the shade Fresh. So how does this correspond to the book? Well, one of the narrators in this book, he lives in LA, so you know, LA colors, perfect fit. I wanted to use this eyeliner 15 times, and you can see what it looked like, what it has been looking like, but since rolling it in, I have actually been able to use it 15 times. I don't know, I have sharpened it some, so it should look a bit smaller than it used to be. This is a very creamy eyeliner, so I feel like I have to sharpen it quite often. But yeah, I'm happy to have met my goal on that one. I also enrolled this perfume. This is by a Swedish niche perfume brand called Scents by Norra Norrland, which is actually a perfume brand from like northern Sweden, where I live. This is the scent Viddar, and I enrolled this because one of the scent notes in this perfume is actually fallen leaves, and the novel is called House of Leaves, so we have to be creative in what we roll in. And I wanted to use this perfume 20 times because I had not used it that much prior to rolling it in. And I have since been able to use it 20 times. I don't know if you will see like the biggest difference from last update, but I do have a dent now in this, which is super exciting. This is a very nice perfume. It has this clear, like, what are you? Jasmine or patchouli vibe to it, but I really enjoy it, and happy to have been showing that some love. Then last update I did enroll 2 other items. One is this lip gloss by A.M Cosmetics. It's from their In the Dark collection, or it's from Unearthly Cosmetics, but this is their final like holiday collection from when they were called Alien Cosmetics. I wanted to use this one 20 times, and I have been successful in using it 20 times. You should be able to see like a jump, because I do feel like I go through these unearthly lip glosses quite fast. I didn't mark it last update, but this is where we are now, so we're like basically halfway through with this one. I don't really love lip gloss that much, so this is something that I want to pan next year to completion. But I rolled this one in because it's from the In the Dark collection, and this room that they find in the house in the book, it's like infinite, and it's also pitch black. There is not a single window, not anything. The only light that you can like get from this room is from the door where you entered the room from the rest of the house. When you're in that room and when you walk through the maze and through the staircase that's there, it's just complete darkness. So that is, In the Dark. And then finally, I actually brought in a nail polish last update. I brought in my Holo Taco nail polish in Spirit Fingers. This is the collab with Sapphire Nygaard, and it's a really nice grayish with a flip to like both pink but also green gold. I don't know if you will be able to tell. Really, really lovely nail polish. I wanted to use it 3 times, and I have used it 3 times since. I don't know if you will be able to actually tell that, but it is so stunning on the nails. I also discovered to use this on top of, I had like a dark red plummy shade. I used this one on top, and it was so beautiful. So you can use this to like change your base nail color as well. And you can also use it on its own. I rolled this one in because in one part of the book, the narrator Johnny, which is the man commenting on the main story, he has like a moment where he sees this monster, and it has, or like human-ish monster, and it has super long fingers, and it is he kind of feels that it's attacking him, but we don't really know if that is the case. Later on, when you read till the end, you kind of figure out what might have been going on in Johnny's head, but he is not a reliable narrator, so to speak. But yeah, that I just took that scene because when I updated last, I didn't know more about this than he saw a creature with really long fingers, and then suddenly that disappeared. So I thought Spirit Fingers kind of correlates to that scene. So I have been hitting my goals on all of the items. Of course, none of these have been to finish it up to completion. I sometimes have, I have different goals in this project, which has been really fun, but I like the creativity to kind of figure out what do I enroll based on the book that I'm reading. How can I like find something for my collection to work on? I love that aspect. And yeah. So those are the items and that book. But before I kind of wrap this one up, I want to talk about the books that I have been reading in November, December. Let's start with one that I actually started reading but then decided not to complete. This is the book Fake Accounts by Lauren Euler. I read half of this book and then I decided to not finish it. I have been better at feeling like I can actually stop reading books that I don't enjoy. I used to feel like a completionist, that I had to finish what I started, but why should I hate read something that's not like enjoyable? It's I feel like my time is too precious for that. So this one was not what I thought. I thought it was going to be like an interesting story about misogyny. It's about this girl who finds out that her boyfriend has like several fake accounts. Like that he's a troll, he's a conspiracy theorist. And I thought that, they were going to explore what do you do if you find this out. But I don't know, it was just a book about nothing. This person, the girlfriend, she's just like overanalyzing things, and she wasn't really a sympathetic person in my humble opinion. I just got so annoyed and frustrated reading all her thought process about everything. It's a very dense book because it's like just her inner thoughts about shit that really don't matter, and she just, I don't know. I couldn't relate really to her. She was very annoying. So I decided to give it up. I don't have to force myself anymore. I am old, I am wise, I don't have to do that. So I didn't finish that one. I did read, I had a theme for December to read my unread books. So I did read this one, The Queen's Gambit. This was a really fast read. It's, I don't know if you have seen the TV show or whatever, but it's very similar to the TV show about Beth Harmon, who grows up in an orphanage, and she discovers how to play chess, and she's like this super duper amazing chess player, and it's about her journey. It was written in the 80s, this book, and the story takes place, I don't really remember when, but it's battling with, or it has these ideas also about orphan children who were fed with sedatives because, to keep calm, and what do that do to a person who has been eating sedatives as a child. How do you get rid of that addiction? Because suddenly they weren't allowed to give sedatives to children, and here you have all these children who are now addicted to drugs, basically. It was good. What I feel like reading this one and also watching the TV show is that it kind of felt a bit too easy, even though her life wasn't easy, but it was actually, it became quite easy. Also, like her getting rid of her addiction, or battling her addiction, felt a bit easy. Especially when we're talking about her alcoholism towards the end. But I did enjoy it. You had, I think it was fun to read about this woman in a man's world, where, playing chess professionally. this is written by a man, so it's also that meme, you know, what a man thinks a woman's lowest looks like, and it's what's her name, Anna Taylor, blah, looking like stunning, but her makeup is slightly smudged, so that's a woman at her lowest. But yeah, it wasn't bad or anything. It was enjoyable. Then I also read this book, which was a different story than The Queen's Gambit, which felt very easy. This one is Tender is the Flesh by Augustina Basterica, and this is a very morbid story. It's a morbid dystopian story about people, about how humans have started to eat humans. Humans have become cannibals because it is said that there is a virus that all animals have contracted, and if humans eat animals and get this virus, they will die. And the desire for meat is so high, it's so big for humans, so they transitioned to not eating the meat from animals, but eating meat from humans. And this is many years into the transition where it has been very, very normalized, and you have human farms where you grow humans to slaughter, and yeah, it's a morbid story. I did enjoy it. I think it had very interesting ideas. It felt like she had a very, very specific idea that she wanted to portray. How we keep animals today is very inhumane in many ways, and if we just switch the animals and then we add humans there, it would be horrific. And that's the story she wanted to tell, and it was quite obvious that was the story she was going to tell. It had I was a bit surprised at the end, how things ended. It's a short book, so. But yeah, I was fascinated by the idea. I think that she had many interesting points. Also a dystopian science fiction. What do we call this? This is the book I finished today, actually. It's called The Future by Naomi Alderman. She wrote the book The Power, which I loved. Really, really great dystopian story. Also a really great TV show, a very great adaptation on a book, in my opinion. I feel that there are many bad adaptations, but this adaptation was actually good. This one is about... you mainly follow two people, Jen and Martha, and it's about how much power the super rich have today. The power that they hold over the future and over humans is it's more than government. It's above them, and what would happen then, if we are at the end of the world, if there is an apocalypse, what will happen? Really, really interesting ideas. She wanted to fit so much in, because you have this part of the story about a cult, and one of the characters being brought up in a cult and then escaping, but really thinking about this, because it was what is it called? Apocalyptic cult, end of days cult. So we have that, and we also have the idea of the tech companies, what they can do with all their money and how they affect people. We have refugee camps we have different parts of the world failing. Many ideas, but I think that in the end, it all tied together very nicely, and I I love Naomi's writing. I think it's like, it feels modern. You have action, but it's also filled with a lot of afterthoughts. You can kind of, I don't know, I think I really enjoy her writing style. And yeah, it's just, I feel like she had so much inspiration and took so many things that we see today, because this is just a near future. It's not like 200 years from now. She is writing about the, like, COVID. What did we learn from COVID, and how will things escalate? She has this person called Lenk, I don't remember his last name, but he's obviously a Mark Zuckerberg person, and other like billionaires, and how they are kind of wishing for, they are not only preparing, but they are wishing for the apocalypse. They want the end of the world to happen so that they can be kings and queens in the new world after. Really, really recommend this one. Or if you want to dive into this author, you can also read The Power. Really, really great stuff. I thoroughly enjoyed that book. So that is it. Those are the books that I read. I want to talk some numbers, because I said I wanted to read more books in 2024. I have read, in this project, I have read 39 books. So that is not like, I know, for example, Betty Bean, she reads 15 books a month. I'm not that, but I am so proud of reading 39 books. I will have read 40 by the end of the year. I'm gonna make sure. It's just so much better than I've been doing these last years. I am very, very proud of myself, and I think that even though this project doesn't have that many views, I'm going to continue, because I love talking about the books. I love the creativity to add like makeup beauty items that correspond to each book, and I feel like I succeeded in what I set out to do. I held myself accountable for like not reading a book for 6 months. I was able to like get through the books and not falling into slumps again. I am so excited, and yeah, I hope that you are and have enjoyed. You who are watching have enjoyed this project as well. Let me know what you think. Should I do any tweaks to this project by next year? I would love to hear any suggestions that you might have. But yeah, that is going to wrap it up for this finale, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye guys!